So back at ToaHell, I already cleared ToaHell. I kind of did it like, well, I just recorded it, but I didn't live record it or anything like that. So I'm just gonna talk over what I did. I do want to say a few things. A, this above here is not my team. I just paused the video. B, I think this rotation is way easier to get to 20 stars than last rotation. So for the people that actually didn't give it a try, at least try to go for the Devilmon. That's the most important. L&D and the LS, you're probably not gonna get anything, but the Devilmon is like, it's always an improvement to get the Devilmon too. So just try to get, like, I think getting 10 points is pretty doable. And also you get like a bunch of extra trips. It's highly doable to get the reward. I just went overboard. I threw like my best runes at it and then I just went for it. But I'm just gonna showcase, like, this is a 2-hour video. I actually spent like about an hour and 15 minutes to get to 20 points, which is a lot less time than last time, because last time it took me like, I think 7 or 8 hours to get there, maybe even more. So it was actually pretty easy. Most of it was like steamrolling. Even few first stage was just autoing. That said, let's get into the team. I'm gonna be skipping like through the video a bit. It's a 2-hour video, so if I skip like a little bit too far, I have to go a little bit back and stuff. So the main team I've been using is this team, and don't worry, I'm gonna give you some replacement units. This is the main team I've been using, and I think I used like at least 4 out of these 5 units in pretty much every stage. So Tyron is pretty irreplaceable, but it's also free to play, so that's pretty easy. Ganymede could be easily replaced, probably even better by the Dark Homunculus with Unbalanced Field. I would highly recommend, like, if you were caring about this kind of stuff for a little bit, at least try to get to the 20 stars. You don't have to go like hardcore on like the 30 stars. But if you care about it, just get your Devilmons into the Dark Homunculus, because it's just a long-term investment. You're gonna use this every month, and it's actually a really good unit here. So Tyron, Dark Homunculus, Sean, free to play, of course. And then these 2 units, I would replace either one of them with a Spectra 2A. I don't have a Spectra 2A, so that's kind of an issue for some stages. And then the other one is kind of like a wild card. You can fit in anything that fits in for that stage. So you just put in like another free-to-play option, which I've seen people be using, is the Wind Gildon. So the Wind Flute player. So that one is pretty good for like attack bar pushbacks and that kind of. All the way at the end, I'll showcase the runes as well. So let's just get into it. So the first stage, I'm kind of in front of it, but passive effects don't work, and immune to cooldown increasing effects. So Ganymede S3 won't do anything, and I don't use any passives here. You just can't use Lauren, you can't use Vert. This one, I'm pretty sure, like, I just autoed like pretty much the whole thing. Like, I just saw the units, I just gave like the first few like hits that stuff was stunned, and then I was just like, hey, let's just auto this, because this team is really good. Belenus is an insanely good unit. Rika is of course an insanely good unit here. Poseidon is pretty good here as well. I had like a really good damage set on Belenus. You're gonna see his runes later, you're gonna laugh. Like, trust me on that one, you're gonna laugh. But yeah, Belenus had a really good set, and he just went steamrolling, man. He just killed things really fast. So that's the first wave, really simple. Second wave, passives don't work. Why do you have twins? They have a passive, what the fuck? But actually, funny thing is, Kanto is actually, like, often we joke about, like, Kanto is like with the balance team mostly, like, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know they're in game, right? But they put like units here together, which actually makes sense. That like, okay, they know what they're doing. So yeah, pretty easy. And then this, oh yeah, for the people that don't know, this is the censored version that you have in China for oracles. Now you know. I don't know why they do it, but like, yeah, Chinese censorship. But yeah, even this one, I legit autoed it. Like, I walked away from my phone, I was at the boss stage, I'm like, whoops, and like, whatever. So yeah, you can push back the attack bar, but or you can't like reset cooldowns. But since 2 turns provoke, you even got glancing in there. You're probably gonna, like, even if she gets a turn, like, it barely matters. I mean, like, easy stage. So that's an easy 3-pointer for everyone. Then we have the next one, which is Ashubel. And this one is pretty interesting. Applies 1 turn of immunity at the start of battle and gives 2 turns of counterattack at the start of battle. So you pretty much need the same team. But like, let's say this is your Spectra, Belenus is Spectra. You just have to replace this with a strip. Best option, of course, Gianna. Not everyone's gonna have it. I use Gianna, of course. Other good options is a Clara as an option. It's not the best, I guess. Tiana is a decent option because you have to hit on like counters. So Tiana actually doesn't hit, she just strips, which is a pretty nice option. And then you could actually, like, besides that, just any stripper would do. So I went for Gianna. Of course, Gianna is also not a 100% strip because you have the resistance check. Yeah, this stage pretty easy. Afterwards, you just see it. This one, like here, you can see like it's like what I was saying. Like they know what they're doing. Like they put Giannas in there as well, which is pretty funny. So, but yeah, I didn't like. You thought maybe you think like, ah, this is right away a lost round. Not really. Like it doesn't matter all too much. Also, Ganymede can reset Gianna in case things go wrong, which is kind of funny. But yeah, in the end, like I managed to CC it. Sean has like a little bit of healing and easy. So this stage is actually more annoying if you don't land any of them, especially because Elsharion is gonna counter, which is highly annoying, and he steals your buff, so you steal like the whole counter again. Then I wasn't that smart and I used S3 on Tyrone, which made him steal the immunity again, and then I couldn't push back and that kind of stuff, so I just had to reset Gianna, and afterwards it was actually fine. And then you just go for the CC train, you reset the skills on Ashubel, you just push him back like constantly. You have Provoke. Provoke is so OP in like all of this. Like Sean is a must unit in all of this. So then it was pretty easy for stage 2. Easy with another. So that's already 6 stars. Pretty easy. Then we have a Woundhawk. Or Woundhawk, Woundmole, I forget. Like Dark Art Master. Pretty cool unit though. Immune to inability effects, so you can stun. Immune to cooldown increasing effects. It doesn't really matter if you just provoke. So for this stage, I just switched back to Poseidon, which was the easiest version of my team, and it's just CC training them, which is pretty easy. Thing I did notice here is that you have the first stage with tractors, and killing tractors with a Balinus and no armor break takes forever. However, these tractors, they did like 600 damage per hit. They did absolutely nothing. So I still had it on auto there actually, but yeah. But yeah, this was a little bit more annoying. It just took time. It wasn't really difficult because they actually barely did any damage, to be honest. So you can't armor break them, but yeah. It just takes a while. Having dots on them is of course a lot better because they get a lot of turns. Because if you crit them, they get attack bar. I think it's on a crit. I'm not sure if you just hit them like in general. So that was pretty, it just took a while, but pretty easy still. Like you can see, like I got hit like a couple of times, but barely losing any attack bar or any HP bar. Then next wave, super easy, just CC train, easy. Then we have this stage, which is also pretty easy. These are like the Ryus, so the water Ryus. So if you hit them first time, they get attack bar, but if you reset their attack bar and you just provoke them, they don't do anything. So here they get attack bar, they're still slow, they don't do anything, they provoked anyways, and now you just freeze them, and it's super simple. Oh wait, I can't freeze them because of the effect, so... But still, like, everything is provoked, everything is... Like, the thing is, if you provoke plus glancing plus attack debuff, it's so easy, because Tyrone has glancing, you got provoke here, you got attack debuff there. If you have Spectra here, you also have attack debuff. So these units, if they get a turn, they do nothing. They just, like, they tickle Sean a little bit and it's easy. So with this, like, even this still autoing easy. So we're already at 9 stars. So this is super doable for, like, I think everyone that has, like, a decent violence set and these kind of units. So then we have a star, same thing again. Apply immunity and 2 turns of counter at the start of a fight. This one was a little bit more difficult because it got a little bit close. I was a little bit reckless, and also my Gianna didn't land that many strips. So of course we're going in with Gianna again, and I still had auto on, and Gianna didn't do her S3, and that's why you lose. So this one I missed 1 strip, not a big deal. That unit does absolutely nothing. That unit is terrible. So easy clear on that one. Then this one I missed 2 strips, which is a little bit annoying, but also in the end they didn't do too much, so that was fine. And this one I missed 3 strips. No, I missed 2 strips, which was a little bit more annoying for the final stage. And that right away cost me quite some HP bar. And at that point I also was a little bit reckless in the resets that I used. I had to reset more towards Tyrone to give Tyrone more S3s or S2s. So I could reset the attack bar more, because a star, the moment she attacks, she still attacks everyone. And that's pretty difficult for a Jean to out heal. Because Jean, if like Sean is just being hit, then it's pretty easy to out heal. But if everyone is being hit, it's pretty difficult to out heal for Sean. So actually throughout the whole fight, I had like really low HP bars. La la la, pretty low. But at some point I noticed like, okay, if I just keep resetting like the Tyron with as much like pushbacks as possible on the S2, it is pretty doable. And we already have 12 stars. We already have the Devil one. So this part, like if you just focus for the Devil one, just go until this part and that's it. Then we get into a stage that's a little bit more difficult. First one is immune to cooldown increasing effects. Easy, easy. You just provoke. I already talked about it. So I already talked about it. This one's pretty easy. Like you just provoke, super easy, and then you have the 3000 reflect damage with each hit. If you want to go hardcore for ToaHell, you go for that one. I tried it once and it actually counts on multi-hits and my Tauron just one-shot himself. I'm like, ah man, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do this. Like I don't care about, like personally, I don't care about 30 stars. I just want my LS, my LV, and my Devilmon, and then I'm out. And then I just check like if something is easy stages, like easy picking up crystals, sure. But this seemed like a pain in the ass. I tried it once or twice. I immediately died. I tried like, okay, let's get in a friend and get some healing, but you just annihilate yourself like doing one skill. Like after this skill, yeah, I do Tyron S2. Let's see what happens. Tyron is freaking dead. Okay, cool. CBA, man, CBA. Not gonna do that shit. So yeah, then I did the one without the reflect. Or did I? Yeah, I think. Yeah, I tapped the reflect off, like go away with that reflect. I still had friend in there, didn't really need the friend, but still it was fine. Just took a little bit longer, I had to manual more, but still easy 2 stars. So these stages are really easy. Like if you don't have to care about the reflect, these stages are really easy. For this stage, however, I did notice if you bring in dots here, then you're gonna bring Hellfest to the 30% or the 50% mark, which is not beneficial. So I was just at some point trying to get Belenus to armor break him. Thing is, if you're not using Belenus, your armor breaker, it could be the Dark Homunculus, because Dark Homunculus S2 is also an armor break, if I'm not mistaken. Which is actually better because it's a single target armor break, at least for the boss stages. And then Spectra, of course, does a lot more damage than what I bring here, because I don't have any damage based on enemy max HP. But yeah, I was just like, at some point I was like a little bit like saving, like being more careful with using S2s. And the thing is, you actually if you use Belenus from Druid form to Beast form, then it armor breaks. If you use it in Beast form to still Beast form, then it doesn't armor break apparently. So if I'm not mistaken at least, but yeah. So yeah, that's just what you want to focus on. Don't get the health fast too low, and then it's just pretty easy 2 stars. So then we're at 14 stars already. So the next stage. Next stage is Sylvia. So we got block beneficial effects and immune to inability. Well, we barely use any beneficial effects with this whole team. If you use Dark Homunculus, you don't have the speed buff, but it's not the worst if you miss that. And immune to inability effects is not that big a deal. We got provokes. The only thing you need for this one is a Thessarion, which I noticed later. So I put my Tyron runes on Thessarion because you're gonna need that, not for this stage necessarily, but for the next. So yeah, for this stage you kind of need a Thessarion or an Isis, of course. But yeah, Isis, like the thing is, last rotation was really like, if you have Isis, it's gonna be walk in the park. Currently you don't really need Isis that much for most stages, but yeah, you kind of want Thessarion here, so because you want the Oblivion there. So I switch runes, I put in Thessarion there on the spot of Tyron. We go in again. I did miss up one rotation or something and died. So first thing I wanted to Oblivion was the Leo, because Leo like I probably have more speed than all of them because I had pretty high speed runes. So reducing the Leo at first is pretty important. Second one I want to do is or not reducing, like Oblivion. So the second one I want to Oblivion is Ragdoll, and then later I can go for the Lycas. I actually noticed with Lycas that Lyca passive, or like the counter is not on passive or something, because I Oblivion them and they still counted, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, if you have an attack debuff, they don't do that much damage, so make sure you have your Spectre in there or your Belenus in there, anything like that, and then this should be pretty doable. Just try to, like, if what you're resetting for is mostly like the pushbacks, because you can't stun them, This is also a lot easier if you would actually stun them. Oh, I know why I lost the previous round. I noticed that I could stun them. I didn't put in like the double star. So then it was pretty easy. This stage was pretty... Actually, it got really close here, but I was a little bit reckless. But I think with a little bit more lucky-ish plays and a little bit more careful plays is better. Then we have Sylvia with the double Dark Bison and the double Vert. Of course, if you just Oblivion them, they won't do that much. Pushback attack bar. It's not a triple revenge Vert. Yes, you can AoE them. So yeah, that. And the only thing you have to mind is that everything has 2 turns of Oblivion, not just 1 turn. Because let's say the Vert takes a turn and he just shakes off his his 1 turn of Oblivion, he shakes off his turn, and right away after Sylvia moves and he takes Sylvia takes the Vert with her, then you will have the passive on your ass, which is not really beneficial. I'm not even sure what these Bisons do. I think they provoke if they're not Oblivion, so I wanted to get them Oblivion at first, because I kind of expected the Verts not to take any turn anytime soon, because I reset like Poseidon twice, and then it's just really easy like that. So yeah, this was pretty easy. In general, not too much stuff happened. Just focusing the Sylvia down first, and the other stuff just died from like AoEs in general. So then we're already at 15 stars, if I'm not mistaken, getting the LD scroll, yes. So we're only at like floor 6, and we pretty much cleared everything. So then we have the double OG. Double OG, I've seen some people having issues with it. Passives don't work, no one really cares. Immune to cooldown increasing effects. With the team I use, I don't really care. So the only things with the OGs is they can do skill 1, proc a sleep, skill 1 again, proc another sleep, and then they have their extra skills up, and they're no longer provoked. So what you want to have at all times is glancing. Because of glancing, they're not gonna land that much stuff, and you just like same team I've been using the whole time, same thing you could be using the whole time with the Dark Homunculus Spectra, and then like something pushback. It's just pretty easy. The thing is like first stage does nothing. Oh yeah, I actually failed, like, it was funny that I did this whole stage, and then at some point I was a little bit reckless with just spamming like skill 1s. Just spamming skill 1s, and then I noticed one thing. I forgot to put back the runes on Tyrone. Those runes were still on Thessarion. So we go in again. Easy stage. This stage also really easy. Like the Dark Strikers, the Dark Ryus are really OP if they get a turn, but like nothing should get a turn because you can actually stun them, so that makes it really easy. Then we have the double OGs. Double OGs, like the OGs on the side, I didn't even look at them. Like the only thing I looked at is like getting all the debuffs at the Nikki and the Charlotte. I focused Nikki first because if Nikki actually procs double, like if Charlotte procs double and she goes S2 or S3, it's not that good, but it's not that bad. If Nikki goes S2, everyone is cleansed, so that's pretty bad. So I focused Nikki first. And the main thing which I'm focusing on is that I have glancing buff always there. Also with Tyrone is not the best pushbacker for Charlotte because of glancing, but still because it's a multi-hit, it's pretty doable. But actually Poseidon, because of like recent buff, like somewhere half a year ago, his S3 doesn't glance. It's actually pretty nice here. So make sure you just like keep pushing back as much as possible. And yeah, that is like maybe you need like a little bit of RNG that they don't start taking turns and they start like getting rid of the provoke by procs and that kind of stuff. But make sure you just got like 2 turns of like glancing and provoke at all times, and it should be pretty doable. Like as you can see here, like I barely got hit. Like my HP bar stayed full pretty much the whole time. That is already 20 stars, I think. Yeah, legendary skull. So 20 stars done. Like you can check for the timer in the video. I'm like at 1 minute 11. So I just took 1 hour and 11 minutes to just get there. It's pretty easy. Fane Solidar was already at 30. The guy is a legend. I'm gonna put his video down below here as well because hey man, he deserves it. He's a legend in this kind of stuff. He's really good. So after this, I just cleared the stage 8, 9 especially, and 10 are more difficult. I went for a short summon session. Already gonna spoil it. I got nothing. So yeah. Then we have the monkeys, and we have the unrecoverable. I don't want to do unrecoverable, and immune to attack bar decreasing effect. Attack bar decrease, attack bar decrease, attack bar decrease, attack bar decrease. I'm not gonna do that shit. I'm not gonna do the shit ICBM. Unrecoverable seems doable, but I was like, nah. I did actually put in the Bastet, but I was like, nah, man. I'm just gonna do it normally. I did this on 1 star because, man, this stage is super annoying. This also, you want the chicks to stop playing the flute or the harp or whatever they play, because otherwise you get like the Halfas kind of like third passive thing or whatnot. So then it's pretty doable afterwards. But if you can't push them back, it's not a problem. But if you're unrecoverable, you need to work with like a lot of shields and that kind of stuff. I was like, yeah, I was like, I'm just gonna do this 1 star just for the sake of clearing it. Because if you clear it the first time, you actually get a mystical scroll and you get 50 crystals. So because you get both, I was like, might as well do it. So I actually cleared it, and then so 1 star, pretty easy, clear. Then the Lydia is super difficult if you want to do this on... I have no clue how Vayne did it, but again, like down below, you have the reflect of 3000 here, which is super annoying. I really CBA one, and unrecoverable, and you have to hit the Lydia. So I think I went in with the same team again. I just did it on 1 star. I went lazy. It's pretty doable on 1 star. I failed here once because at some point the Narsha started doing too much damage on the Shan, and then Shan died because there was no attack debuff, no glancing on the Narsha. And for some reason that got resisted like twice, which is pretty bad, and then she died. So, but this team actually works, and what I mostly did was focusing down the Julians to reduce the HP of the Lydia without stacking her passive. At least I think it doesn't stack her passive that way, but... yeah, I went in again, I did the same team, and actually if you kill the... I think killing the Narshas first makes it a lot easier, because then they don't have their passive that they stack like a lot of speed. And then it's just a lot easier in general, and then just focusing down a Julian, don't kill it with a dot, just... and yeah, so on. So then I was like, I have to clear this one once, right? I have to clear the final boss once. So I re-runed some. First time didn't work, then I switched to Poseidon. This was my team I did it with. It took a damn while. I had the Tyrone runes on Lauren, and the only thing is what I forgot to bring is any damage from max HP of the enemy. So then you get to this boss, and it's man, this took me way too long, man. Bring a Spectra, get a 2A Spectra. I don't have 2A Spectra, but yeah, this it's still pretty doable. You just gotta stun. I don't really have main stunners, but Balinus S1 is a stun, and Poseidon was on Despair, which is a stun. And then I just wanted to do Lauren because I was pretty lazy to actually start like tapping them and that kind of stuff. But yeah, so at 1 minute 50, the side bosses are dead. This took an insane amount of time. We're 1 minute 56, 57, 58, 59. I took 9 minutes to kill that boss. Like, just tapping like first skills and shit, because I couldn't actually auto it because it would actually take a turn. Like the thing actually outspeed me if it would take a turn. Now you have triple chromas, which is pretty annoying, but because I had Eladriel on here, it was actually pretty easy. The only downside with Eladriel is if he revives, he brings himself to 50% HP. Therefore, these units might start using S2 on his ass, and then you're pretty fucked. But yeah, that didn't happen, so that was pretty easy. Then at the final boss, again, having the issue of not having any damage by max HP. So yeah, it just took a while. It was actually not that difficult of a fight. I had to revive like a few times because I couldn't push back enough. Especially if the Maelstrom was resisted, I couldn't push back enough. I had some issues with putting enough like Balinus is terrible here. Balinus replacing Balinus with Spectra is like 100 times better for this stage. So also I just did this on 1 star. I have no clue how you do this on 3 star. Also I didn't care. Like I already have my LD, my Devilmon, and my LS. That's all I care about. But you want to bring down the right crystal with dots, and then you can just focus the middle thing kind of. So that's pretty much what I did. It was close a little bit, a few times, but in the end with an Eladriel in there, it's pretty easy. So that's that. Then we have... I think I went for 23 stars in the end. Yeah, so 23 stars. So yeah, again, like if you haven't done ToaHell last rotation, I think the first 4 stages most people could do on 3 stars. Like at least if you're like kind of like mid slash end game, you can totally do it. Like if you're early game, you're gonna struggle with like just outspeeding them on Fio sets and that kind of stuff. But I think the stage 6 and the stage 7 are pretty doable. So I think it's pretty doable for people to get like the 20 stars in here, or at least try to get 10 stars for the Devilmon. That's the most important. So then, of course, talking about my runes, which runes did I use? This was the Poseidon set. I just had Despair. I wanted 1 unit on Despair. It's pretty fast. It's pretty like overall high stats. And then a Broken set. I just really quickly threw like any high set on them that I could find. This is my Lauren set. This was actually on Tyrone most of the time. 190 Vio on Max Aki, which is a really good set, of course. But yeah, I just threw any set on it that I could find. This was like half of the set that I used on Jean, pretty much. It's like Jean is not ruined here, like I just switched the rune. So also, if you want to do this, just do this on a free rune removal thing. This is my Balanus. It has 6 fire runes, which really makes a lot of sense, right? I don't know, man. I literally just threw runes at it, and I didn't even notice I had 6 fire runes on it until I just started checking. Like I showcased my runes, like on here. I'm like, oh, well, it worked, I guess. So yeah, still pretty good set for like overall damage, speed, that kind of stuff. That was also the Eladriel set that you saw really quick. You can pause the video. Is also what I just used on Sean. That was pretty much that. So these kind of units that I use, again, the units that I recommend using are more free to play. I do recommend using those. I think Ganymede also had like some of these runes of like Figure and Eladriel. And that's just all speedy Fio sets, and that's it. So I think it should be pretty doable for most people to get there, at least for the 10 stars. Otherwise, focus on the 20 stars. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya!